Greetings indie warriors and welcome to I Dream of Indie Games. My name is Old Gamer Joe, and while there's no shortage of amazing indie games constantly being released, I must admit that there are quite a few titles out there that I would love to have more of. These are 10 indies that we are dying to have sequels for. As always, be sure to like and subscribe if you love independent content as much as us, or even better, head on over to patreon.com/idreamofindiegames, where you can gain Discord access to the greatest indie gaming community out there, early ad-free shows, shoutouts at the end of every single video we produce, and even free games depending on the tier you select. Your new indie gaming community is waiting for you. Alright, let's do this. At number 10, maybe we're cheating a little bit because a new Streets of Rage game was announced called Streets of Rage Revolution, but it doesn't appear to be a proper numbered entry for the franchise and seems to be more of a 3D take on the series. While it's nice that we're getting more Streets of Rage, I'd love for the team of Emu, Guard Crush, and Lizard Cube to get another crack at making a Streets of Rage 5. With the success of Streets of Rage 4, which was an excellent brawler that came 25 years after the original trilogy, I thought it would be a no-brainer to see a sequel announced rather quickly. The game featured a gorgeous art direction, awesome brawling action, 12 stages, and a killer soundtrack. Hell, it even received some DLC since its release, making it even more fleshed out. Unfortunately though, there's no word on a Streets of Rage 5 proper, and instead it would seem that Sega currently has no plans to license out the franchise again. This worries me a bit, as obviously licensing the franchise out was very successful, and it allowed a developer to shine. Let's just hope Revolution ends up being great. Number 9, perhaps one of the strangest and most surprising idle games ever, The Longing came at a time where many of us were stuck inside due to the pandemic. It kind of felt ironic in a way, a game about being trapped and having to find your ways to pass time. Playing as a Shade, you needed to get through 400 days, but didn't even necessarily need to be playing the game at all for time to pass. The brilliance of this title got me thinking, what else could they do with The Longing? I'm not even sure what exactly a sequel would look like, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't love to see it. Maybe instead of having to kill time, time is against you. Or maybe it's 800 days. Gosh, that sounds brutal. There's an idea here for building a universe out of The Longing, and I'd love to see it come to life. At number 8, an indie revival that I would love to see is for a game that released back in 2019, and that game was Fables, the everlasting Sapling. This was a charming little indie RPG heavily inspired by the Paper Mario franchise. Its adorable characters, sharp writing, and fun if not familiar combat made it an absolute joy to play through, becoming one of my favorite games the year it released. The world of Buggaria was full of charm and left me wondering if we would ever get a sequel. With rumors of the developers suffering severe burnout after the first game, there are only whispers here or there of perhaps another Fables game. Let's hope our dreams don't get completely squashed, as it would be awesome to have a brand new story in this universe. Moving to number 7, it's no secret at this point that I love the highly original horror release Carrion, but what's the common complaint we hear about it? The short length, of course. So how about a sequel? Surely there's room for more of this. Seriously, it would be really cool to explore new areas as a monster, new themes, and truly flesh out the narrative and universe of Carrion. It also wouldn't hurt to have a few more hours of this gameplay. Let's keep our fingers crossed that we just might get a second game in the series someday. Hopefully, maybe. Let's get a little mysterious with number 6, a game that I absolutely adore, and you should definitely pick it up if you ever get the opportunity. It's on sale constantly. In fact, at the time of this recording, it's like $4 or something, but it does go on sale a lot. We're talking about LeClue, Detectivú, and I just love this adventure game. I think Jenny is a very charming character, the writing is extremely sharp, and the puzzles are also a blast. There is promising news with this one, because even if you go to the Steam page, LeClue was always planned to be a 2-part game. So the second game is at least conceptually an idea, and hopefully we hear an official announcement in the next few months or years, or maybe never? Hopefully though, I'm pretty optimistic we're gonna get this one, and we should. It would be awesome. For number 5, let's talk about Remothered, and yes, this game did get a sequel, but it was a bad sequel to a really good game, and that kind of pisses me off, to be honest, because I love the original Remothered. It's a budget-style horror game, but a whole lot of fun, very scary, almost a callback to the Clock Tower series in a lot of ways, and Broken Porcelain was, well, broken when it launched, a complete mess, and never really found its way. A very disappointing sequel, but we can right the ship here and and make a third Remothered that will be good, so there'll only be one bad game in the middle, right? But it doesn't sound too promising, folks. It seems like all plans for the third game have been shelved, as the second game performed poorly, to no surprise, really, because it wasn't good. At number 4, a game that I just picked up recently and was featured on another list. Be sure to check that out. I'll have a link in the description box below to my favorite indie intros. We're talking about Cyber Shadow, an awesome callback to the NES era, and this game leaves itself wide open for a sequel. I believe this was also the plan to make 2 Cyber Shadow games. I mean, that would be awesome because the first game is exceptional. I know there's no shortage of 8-bit throwback retro action games like this, but I just can't get enough of them. And Cyber Shadow was so beautifully executed that I'm dying to play another one. On that topic though, instead of the 8-bit era, let's get another callback to the 16-bit era with a sequel to Kaze and the Wild Mess. That would be awesome because I love the original game. You know I shout this out all the time here at I Dream of Indie Games. A great 2D platformer throwback to the Donkey Kong Country series in particular. Gorgeous, colorful, plays great, looks great. Awesome game that really deserves a sequel and deserves more attention in general. On to the bottom 2, that's not an insult by any means, by the way. I'm gonna shout out Lacuna here, a great little detective adventure game that won a Golden Genie Lamp here at I Dream of Indie Games. Very compelling story, great characters, and an awesome, awesome soundtrack made this one of my favorite indie games that I've ever covered here on the channel. So getting a sequel naturally would be awesome, but it looks like the developer has moved on to other games. That doesn't say that Lacuna can't make a comeback in the future though. So again, like all of these games, fingers crossed that we hear something eventually about the Lacuna series coming back once more. This is another one that if you haven't picked up for whatever reason, grab it. It's so good. Alright folks, number 1, thank you so much for watching through another list with me. Appreciate you so much as always. And I'm going to go the comedic route with this one, even though it is an awesome game. Another one that I talk about quite a bit here at I Dream of Indie Games, the comical Unmetal, which is a parody of the Metal Gear series, but a very well executed one. A throwback to the older Metal Gear games, not the Solid series so much. This game's sense of humor and the fun gameplay and the retro visuals all work together wonderfully, and I've wanted another Unmetal game ever since I finished this one. Probably a long shot, especially with the publisher now out of business, but hey, you never know. Maybe they can find another publisher or go the self-publishing route. And there you have it, folks, 10 awesome indies that I think deserve sequels. But let me know in the comments below, did you play any of these in the first place? Would you like sequels for them as well? Or did you have other games in mind? I'd love to hear from you. Can't wait to chat. Voice to the voiceless. I will see you on the channel for more great indie gaming content.